Welcome, dear guests, honorable VIP. Thank you for joining us today on this second session of the day. This particular session will be talking about biodiversity and the climate change and how to preserve Indonesia's natural resources for a resilient future. So one of the main efforts to maintain biodiversity is through conservation action and also forest and land rehabilitation. There are also other mitigation actions designed by GOI as a long-term low-carbon development strategy. So today we will learn various best practices of mitigation action, specifically to forest and land rehabilitation. We will also deep dive on the technology and standards that's applicable to that. So to start with, I humbly invite the Vice Chairman of the Regional Representative Council of the Republic of Indonesia, Bapak Sultan Bahtiar Najamuddin. At the podium, please. Thank you.
Check. Yeah, thank you. Good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam, peace. Allow me to express my appreciation and gratitude to Honorable Minister of Forestry, Minister Siti Nurbaya, for your kind invitation to attend and deliver speech at COP26 Dubai in United Arab Emirates. COP28 Committee Indonesia Pavilion Dubai, United Arab Emirates, distinguished invite guests, NGO, CSO, philanthropists, academics, and media partner. I would like to thank Minister and all the committee and Indonesia Pavilion Committee who always invite me to be a speaker for 3 years in a row, starting from COP in Madrid, Glasgow, and now in Dubai. I also appreciate the theme raised today, which is collaborate approach in conservation and rehabilitation program. Before I begin my short speech, let me introduce myself first. My name is Sultan Bahtiar Najamuddin. I am Deputy Speaker of the House of Regional Representative of Republic of Indonesia. I am the youngest speaker and leader among parliament speaker. I was also the youngest Vice Governor of Bengkulu province, and I was one of the youngest senator in 2009. Of course, I am originally from Bengkulu, one of Sumatra Island. Let me make more short, because the time is very limited, right? Ladies and gentlemen, we can no longer ignore the fact that the world's climate is becoming increasing unpredictable and extreme. As water level rise, the risk of flooding increase. At the same time, periods of drought of El Nino are getting longer and more frequent. However, our most valuable resource, biodiversity, is treated with extension in the long term. Biodiversity in Indonesia is Indonesia's largest capital in reducing the impact of climate change. Indonesia has hundreds of thousands or even millions of types of biodiversity, both on land and at sea. However, climate change itself is expected to several disrupt ecosystem and further reduce biodiversity. Addressing both of these issues simultaneously is essential to ensure that effort to combat one problem do not harm the others. Therefore, we need to collaborate climate phenomena and biodiversity capital in rehabilitation and conservation approach with a strong focus on natural-based solution. Conservation and rehabilitation are two important agenda or program in presenting nature-based solutions that have great potential to contribute to the climate challenge of keeping global warming below 2 degrees and adapting to a warm world, as well as improving the quality of biodiversity. Conservation is an important step and method of managing and using the biosphere wisely in order to obtain the greatest benefit sustainably for the current generation, while maintaining the potential to meet future needs and aspirations. Therefore, the use of a resource, especially biodiversity, by humans to meet needs cannot be done casually. There need to be restriction on the use of a resource in order to reduce pressure on the supply of limited resource. Unfortunately, global deforestation still increased by 4% last year with the loss of 6.6 million hectares, mostly primary forests in the tropic. We should be grateful as Indonesian. We should be grateful Indonesia deforestation is reported to be declining. Throughout 2023, Indonesia deforestation has decreased quite high, reaching 114,000 hectares compared to before. Indonesia, through law number 41, 1999, on forestry article 40 affirm that forest and land rehabilitation is intended to restore, maintain, and improve the function of forest and land so that their carrying capacity, productivity, and role in supporting buffer system so that sustainable and resilient life is maintained. Biodiversity is a gift that must be preserved. That is why Indonesia government built 10 flora and fauna conservation areas. One of the most famous is Komodo Island. Indonesia also intensively developing mangrove forest rehabilitation program, which are the largest mangrove forest area in the world, covering more than 24% of the world total mangrove area, which is 3.36 million hectares, and estimate around 314 billion tons of blue carbon are stored in mangroves. Part of Indonesia's effort to contribute to the world reducing greenhouse gases in accordance with Indonesia's strong commitments set out in its NDC, which among other things is achieved through carbon sequestration in forest and other land use by 2030. As the Vice Speaker of House of Regional Representative of Republic of Indonesia, through this important forum, we call for intensive collaboration. We call for intensive collaboration of all parties in preserving biodiversity multilaterality. Multilateral collaboration between countries that own tropical forests in the world and with advanced industrial countries that contribute the most. Likewise, the role of collaboration between the private sector, NGO, and the community and even university need to be improved. Of course, with motivation and noble environment orientation, not only with the carbon industry approach approach which only has an economic impact on certain parties. The spirit of collaboration in ecological conservation and rehabilitation program need to build on the common needs for strong and progressive global future. Therefore, policies relate to biodiversity. Conservation and rehabilitation program must be summarized holistically and industrially so that they can be adopted by all parties. It is time we need to review the attention and orientation of COP after COP held so far. Why does the Earth's temperature continue to increase over time? Why? Why does the Earth's temperature continue to increase over time? We think that we need the same measurement, tools, and standard in the climate crisis control agenda. We need to promote the principle of justice in the midst of effort that require the full commitment of all countries implementing the Paris Agreement consequently. We must respect our right and obligation as fellow citizens of the world in the context of a climate. Because Indonesia does want to lure. One more, because Indonesia does not want to lure of a climate finance in developed countries. It weakens our enthusiasm and undermine our orientation in climate control effort. I also appreciate that our Minister of Environment and Forestry continue to be committed to controlling climate change and has received the title as a superpower country in controlling climate change. I truly believe that this title is Indonesia's spirit to continue to increase climate action to ensure that the Earth temperature does not increase by more than 2 degrees Celsius. I think it's enough. I hope today is our forum. We can find solution for our better future generation. Thank you. Salam. Peace.
Development from KfW, Frankfurt Bank of Germany. Please put our hands together for Barbara. And also Dr. Wening Sri Wulandari, Director of Center for Standardization of Sustainable Management Instrument from KLHK. And last but not least, we have Bapak Emil Rahadian, VP Director of PT Komatsu Support and Marketing Indonesia. And to lead the session, please come on the stage, Professor Suryo Adi Wibowo. It's yours, Pak.
Check. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, honorary guests in our Indonesian pavilion. This is a good atmosphere today that we will talk about biodiversity and climate change. This is two hot issue for people living in the earth. We cannot living without one of them, and exceptionally, particularly with biodiversity and climate change, two interrelated issues. The biodiversity itself has already since 1992 become a convention on biodiversity. And the climate change, the stepping stone, is the Paris Agreement on the 2015. Both of them have policy governance regime. And that's why, particularly in the climate change, we meet annually and today in Dubai on the 28th of Conference of the Party. This morning, we have honorary guest and speaker, Ibu Barbara Snell. May I call you Barbara? And Ibu Wening Sri Wulandari and Pak Emil, Mr. Emil. Barbara Snell is also from the KFV, and Ms. Wening is also the director director of the Center for Standardization of Sustainable Forest Management, which is closely related to our issues. And the last, Mr. Emil Radian, the Vice President Director of Komatsu Marketing and Support Indonesia Limited. Give applause to them. I will invite Ms. Barbara to give some ideas, opinion, or your experience related to our issues this morning. Please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for having me, Barbara Schnell from KfW Development Bank, here on this panel in this very nice event, in this very atmospheric pavilion. I have to congratulate the Republic of Indonesia for this very nice pavilion. So I'm very pleased to be here, and it's also because KfW Development Bank, the German bilateral financial institution, it's one of the largest bilateral financial institutions in the world. We look back on a very long-standing, very close cooperation with Indonesia since 1952, so it's over 70 years. And for KfW Development Bank, the conservation of biodiversity has long been very, very important. And we have gathered experience for almost 30 years. And we are also in the field of biodiversity. We are one of the largest donors worldwide on behalf of the federal government of Germany. And our goal, our vision and mission as an institution is to contribute to transformative change that prioritizes conservation of nature at all levels and gets a similar momentum in all our partner countries, also as a means of the fight against climate change. And protected areas are a key tool in order to achieve this. So it's sustainable agriculture, it's fisheries, it's forest management, and we always try to take into account the local population, which is very, very important because they need to have a perspective where they live and they need to be part of our efforts to preserve nature. So we have various approaches we use in Indonesia in order to preserve biodiversity. And we already heard that Indonesia is one of the most diverse countries in the world when it comes to biodiversity. There is a treasure to safeguard, and we are very well aware of that. And therefore, we cooperate very closely with the Indonesian government on a national as well as on a regional and local level And I would like to mention 4 approaches we take as KfW. There is, first of all, the protection of entire ecosystems. So KfW supports multiple forestry projects with a specific focus on biodiversity, and one of them is the Gunung Leuser, I don't know, is the pronunciation right? Yeah? Ecosystem. Since 2018, we have seen a great reduction of human-wildlife conflicts and a mitigation of 100% of the occurring conflicts in the project target areas. And this is possible because government and local villages are cooperating very, very well with each other. Furthermore, the project contributes to stabilizing the forest cover in the Gunung Leuser ecosystem, and that really helps to support the preservation of 1.9 to 2.4 billion tons of carbon in this entire ecosystem. And one very interesting fact is also that a huge peat swamp called Rawa Singkil that stores more than a year's CO2 emissions of my home country, Germany. That's huge, about 1 billion gigatons, no, 1 gigaton CO2 equivalents. And that project contributes to the conservation of this peat swamp. That is a great success, and I want to congratulate to this effort undertaken by the Indonesian government and the local population. The second approach we support in Indonesia is the marine conservation and sustainable fishing in the Coral Triangle. We support 2 major marine biodiversity conservation fishery projects which develop alternative livelihood strategies for local communities and better management for marine protected areas. So that is also a very major contribution to the preservation of biodiversity. And then the third approach is that we support the Indonesian government in protecting Indonesia's vast biodiversity in Sumatra, Java, and Papua, for example, by supporting a leatherback turtle breeding station in Aceh and by protecting Sumatra orangutans, elephants, tigers, and maleo birds. So focusing on species living in Indonesia. And the fourth and last approach, mangroves. The German government, through KfW, supports the Ministry of Environment, of Forestry in implementing a grant project, 20 million euros, targeting on the sustainable protection and rehabilitation of mangrove forests in western, central, and eastern Indonesia, including the establishment of the World Mangrove Center. Mangroves account for only 0.7% of tropical forests in terms of area, but they are estimated to account for up to 10% of global CO2 emissions from deforestation, and therefore the protection of mangroves is so crucial and important. And the World Mangrove Center serves as an international and multi-sectoral cooperation center for mangrove management and should enable better resource management to protect mangroves and the biodiversity therein in the long term. So this is very important from our perspective. So those are the 4 approaches, and we benefit from a very, very productive cooperation with Indonesia in all these approaches. We are very thankful for that. And it's also a good example for other countries we work with that local people are very well involved in implementing the measures in these various areas we help to protect and fund in their management. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Barbara. I would like to invite our second speaker, so we have much time for discussion. Please, Ms. Wenning.
Ya, thank you Pak Suryo. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning, the Honorable Bapak Sultan Bahtiar Najamuddin, Ms. Barbara Snell, Pak Emil Rahadian, distinguished partners and participants. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to be here at Pavilion Indonesia, COP28 UNFCCC in Dubai. My presentation is about the role of standards in land and forest rehabilitation program. I will overview the policy of Indonesian policy in forest and land rehabilitation, and also the roles of standards. And in the end, I also present regarding the best practices rehabilitation in Gunung Dahu, West Java, by implementing the standards and technologies. Yes, distinguished participant, ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia's forest area is 125 million hectares. That is a great natural resource. So Indonesia takes a serious policy in forest management. Indonesia has set policies for forest management, including the restoration, management and restoration of peatlands, forest and land rehabilitation, also conservation and biodiversity protection. Yeah, regarding forest and land rehabilitation in Indonesia, we can say that forest and rehabilitation is an effort to restore, to maintain and to improve the function of forest and land. And these activities also to increase their carrying capacity, productivity, and the role in maintaining life support system. For the implementation of forest and rehabilitation, we have to consider the critical aspect. The first, the rehabilitation is carried out following the action plan. I think this is important to be more focused and according to the priority. And the second links is by standards of seed quality and is sourced from certified seed or seedling. Number three, rehabilitation techniques according to the biophysical condition of the rehabilitation area. This is also a critical point that could increase the percentage growth of the plantation. Number four, collaborative and participatory rehabilitation. This is proven, and this strategy could promote community contribution. This strategy could promote community contribution not only in rehabilitation but also in forest protection. Next slide. Distinguished participant, standard are technical requirement or something that is standardized, including waste and of environmental sustainability, technology and experience to obtain the optimum benefits. So the standards have strategic roles in forest and land rehabilitation. Standards provide a reference in implementing rehabilitation for policymakers and also stakeholders in the field, and also facilitate monitoring and evaluation, provide reference in assessing the success of rehabilitation. If we are using standards and technologies, we could assess the successful of rehabilitation by the same criteria. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia also has formulated standards to support forest and land rehabilitation program. Success standards on forest plan seed media, forest plan seed, generative forest plan nursery, permanent nursery of forest plan, vegetative seeding of forest plan, and also the carp seed for enrichment the tropical forest. The standard was formulated by Ministry of Environment and Forestry for SNI, Standard Nasional Indonesia, through the Agency of the National Standardization. These standards are enrichment formulated by participate process among related stakeholders. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia also pays attention to mangrove rehabilitation along with Indonesia commitment to managing sustainable forest mangrove ecosystem. There are several standards such as mangrove management zoning standard and mangrove seed and seedling management standards. Regarding the mangrove sustainability, Indonesia has been supported by the German government through KfW Development Bank protection of mangrove forests. This cooperation is in line with the German government financial program of preservation of biodiversity and natural resources as presented by Ms. Barbara. And the next, as I mentioned before, I would like to share about the lesson learned, rehabilitation and conservation on hutan Gunung Dahu in West Java. The rehabilitation is carried out through collaboration between the Agency for Standardization of Environment and Forestry Instrument with PT Komatsu Indonesia. And this collaboration is the implementation of strategy in rehabilitation and conservation through collaborative action. Regarding the Komatsu Indonesia profile and commitment to support climate change control mitigation, Pak Emil Rahadian from Komatsu Indonesia will deliver the presentation after my presentation. The rehabilitation in Gunung Dahu cover an area of 215 hectares, transforming from degraded unproductive land into a dense forest of dipterocarps. There are 15 species of dipterocarps, such as Sorea replosura, Sorea selanica, Sorea pinanga, and etc. In developing Gunung Dahu forest, Indonesia has implemented the technologies and standards and also developed a new standard and innovation in technology like in nursery with fog cooling system, plant identification, and in planting stock production and seedling maintenance. And from Gunung Dahu forest, after the rehabilitation, of course, the land productivity was brought back and we got several benefits. The forest provide forest services in genetic conservation, stand for seed production and also regreening degraded landscape and also environmental services. At Gunung Dahu Forest in West Java, we could do activities on research and also ecotourism. The plant is currently flowering and it is a source of seed for generative propagation. We can see at the picture and the slide that is one example flower from Sorea pinanga. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's all of my presentation. I believe by using standard and technologies and rehabilitation activities, we can get the best result. The Agency of Standardization and Forest Environment and Forestry will keep provide the best standard to support the rehabilitation program. Terima kasih.
The last I will, yes. The last I will invite Mr. Emil Ramadan from the Komatsu Marketing and Support Indonesia Corporation.
Okay, good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, thank you very much to our distinguished guests for coming and participate of this session. And I would like to say hello also to our keynote speaker, Barbara and Ibu Wening, and also Pak Wibowo. Yeah. Before maybe I need to. So I would like to explain about our activity in Mondahu, Bogor. So, but before brief, I would like to explain about our company and our activity in Indonesia, as well as our activity in Gunung Dahu for reforestation. So this is brief about our company. Maybe some of you already understand that we are from Komatsu. Komatsu is a manufacturer of heavy equipment, and we established in 1924, so me or 21, means we already more than 100 years exist. And this is our global operation and main product. We cover almost all parts of the world. And our products start from excavator, bulldozer, until the forestry machinery. So what I want to say from this slide is our mid-term management plan is we would like to strive for the sustainable growth by generate the positive cycle for ESG solution. And this is our vision of 2050, that we will achieve carbon neutral in 2050 by enhancing our product and also improve our process. And this is next to our Komatsu Group Indonesia company. In Indonesia, there is several of Komatsu entity. We have trading company, manufacturing, remanufacturing, finance company, as well as a technology company to support all of the Indonesia operation. And in Indonesia, we also in line with the government policy and also company direction to gradually go to the green energy, such as biogas, wind energy, and also the solar panel in order to reach 2050 carbon neutrality. And employee also very important. Then we also doing the awareness about the carbon neutrality, and we invite experts from research company, university, how to understand about the environment impact and how we promote the planting trees and so on in order them to understand. Next, about the core of this presentation about the Mondahu experimental project. Already explained by Ibu Wening in the earlier that we are the very huge of the tropical forest. And one of the important is Dipterocarpacea, or in Indonesia is very common, we call meranti. And in 1990, government aimed to do the forestation, and at the same time, Japanese government under Ministry of Agro, Forest and Fishery also supported for reforestation. And at the time, Komatsu stepped up into the collaboration in order to support the forestation in Indonesia. But the challenge at the time is how we can make a vegetative propagation for Dipterocarpacea, because it's very difficult to reproduction. And the habitat of this plantation actually in Kalimantan. But how we make a man-made forestry in Java area in order to make a propagation. And this is the timeline. We started in research in 1994, and we started planting in 1997. And we choose the Bogor. Bogor is the area in West Java. It's about 90 kilometers away from capital city, but capital city in Jakarta, not yet in Kalimantan. And if you see here that before and after, started from degraded land, it become a natural forest or mini forest, man-made mini forest in Bogor area. And what kind of the benefit and we can get from this project? Since then until now, that we could find that the great impact of this project, such as CO2 absorption, and initially in 1997 we have no intention for CO credit because at the time Kyoto Protocol 1997 is just started about the carbon credit. And this area also, surrounding village, also show the increase of the water source, yeah, and make the area getting cool and comfort. And the paddy field of this area also can get more yield after our project is exist. And also we would like to thanks to Ministry Education, We would like to thanks to Ministry of Environment and Forestry because by access of this project, we also can support community and it also generate their income because this facility is also attracted many tourists and our Bogor region
invite the local people and community to participate in our program. And in the mangrove conservation program and restoration program, we not only focus on technical aspect, but also in the social aspect. So I think empowering the community, it's covering by in the program.
Thank you, Bu Weni. There is still time about 5 to 7 minutes. Is there any? Yes, please. Madam, yeah.
Hi, we are Eliana and Carolina. We are from Colombia. Yeah, the national parks in Colombia, the entity. We have a question. Have you measured carbon capture in the various stages or phases of the mangrove growth in the restoration program? Yeah?
Another one questions? It's okay? No? Yes, Ibu Wening.
Thank you. On the question from Colombia. Yes, mangrove have ability to capture carbon maybe 3 until 4 times. So, of course, in the program, we also get information and pay attention how to improve the mangrove to capture the program. As Barbara mentioned before that KFW support us in protection of mangrove forest, also in how to get the a benefit by restoration and rehabilitation in mangrove.
May I add some information that in Indonesia, the importance of the mangrove forests are introduced firstly by the principle of the Center for International Forestry in Bogor, Indonesia. It was introduced by Professor Daniel Mudiarso that the carbon storage are not on the leaves, but on the roots. On the roots of the mangrove forest. So that's why he continuously study about the role of the carbon capture by the mangrove trees or forests. And then that's why he became one of the, what you call it, acknowledged person to measure on, to realize the importance of the mangroves. Then the Jokowi administration, I mean the president right now, address the importance of mangrove rehabilitation. So, because it will give great contribution to the carbon, what you call capture. Yeah? And another thing that wildlife conservation. There another comments? No? Thank you so much. Then our time already finished. Thank you so much for your participation in our session. The biodiversity and climate change, we know that this is two big issues that became the challenge to our era, on the era of the many uncertainty, many non-linear phenomena that faced by modern society. So this is one of the aspects of the relation between biodiversity and climate change that already work in the side from the global, international, multinational support until in the local to the corporate and also research institution. This is the interesting how research institution collaborate with the private sector. So thank you so much for your coming and attend the meeting. Give applause to all of them